So this is the Asus ProArt Studio Book 16 3D OLED display laptop, which I've sort of been obsessed by. I 3D is my life. I do a lot of stuff in 3D. And so this has a 3D glassesless display. And so I've always wanted an OLED 3D display. I thought that would be sort of the best of all worlds for 3D. And so I'm very interested in this. I've been checking it out. It's going to become available in June. And, you know, a lot of the people in our meetup groups deal with 3D stuff. And so I was checking out some of the stuff. Let's see if I can get to these tabs. One of the interesting thing about the OLED display that they're using is it has an extremely fast response time. They're claiming 0.2 milliseconds. So this is the amount of time it takes for the pixels to change from one color to the next. And they're saying that that's about 50 times the fastest response time from most liquid crystal displays. And so what's very interesting about this is that let's say you're refreshing at 30 frames per second, and this is one frame time. When you're refreshing at 30 frames per second, one frame time is 16.67 milliseconds. And so for their OLED display with this fast 0.2 millisecond response time, let me just make sure that we're seeing what I'm seeing. Yes. The time to change to displaying the new frame is very short compared to the entire frame time. And for the LC display, with about a 10 millisecond response time, the time that you see the actual contents of that frame is pretty short. And so what does that mean? Well, what it means, and they've slowed this down here so that you can see it, is that you're actually seeing some of the old frame with the new frame with the LCD display. So here you see this blurry edge on the hockey puck. Now this, like I said, this is in slow motion so that you can see the difference. Whereas with their fast response time, you see everything much more clearly and much sharper. So if you're playing a game, this becomes very important because you're, you know, you're effectively seeing multiple frames all at once when you're looking at the LCD display. So an interesting thing that comes up, I've been sort of comparing everything to the Apple 16-inch M2 Max laptop display. And so you say, well, okay, so this is the response time of the OLED display. This is the response time of a typical LCD display. What's the response time of that MacBook Pro display? Well, the MacBook Pro display is tens of milliseconds. So you're guaranteed to be at a 60 frame refresh rate. And when you're watching moving content, you're guaranteed to be watching several different frames all at once on the MacBook Pro. So that's why people say that the MacBook Pro is not suitable for gaming because the response time for the mini LED display that machine uses is very slow. And let me get this out of my way here. So Notebook Check says the response time is something like 47 to 80 milliseconds, whereas here we're talking about 0.2 milliseconds for the OLED display, and for an LCD display, about 10 milliseconds. So once again, we're talking about 47 to 80 milliseconds for the Mac. So this is sort of important to me. here we see sort of a comparison of the response times of the Mac uh, and other computers. So this is the M1 Pro based Mac, which is faster than the M2 Max for some reason. And then you can see how a ThinkPad compares, high-end ThinkPad, Asus ZenBook, which is different from the laptop that I'm describing. Should be a slower display than the one I'm describing, Shanker, Dell Precision. So you're seeing that the Macs are pretty slow when it comes to response times. And so that's not a positive thing. One thing that's interesting here, just sort of a side issue. This right here is the gamut. In other words, the range of colors that the display can display. And here you're seeing that the Mac is very good at covering P3, the P3 color space, which is what you would use for cinematic type video. It's very good at covering the sRGB color space, which is what you would use for social media. Here they're saying that it's not the greatest for the Adobe RGB color space, which is what you would use if you're editing images for print. For example, if you're making books or you're making fine art prints. I think it's possible that this number here, the 88.5%, that may be an error. I've noticed some mistakes that Notebook Check makes in measuring the Adobe RGB color space. So it may be that Apple does better than this. I'm not sure. I would have to check Apple's numbers if they have any for the Adobe RGB space. So anyways, the OLED displays typically do very well on all three of these. So I thought that was interesting. That laptop with the 3D display that I'm talking about, this laptop, it's going to have up to an RTX 47 video card in it, which is going to be pretty fast. So you can see that it's very similar. It's, you know, a new GPU from NVIDIA. It's very much suited to doing generative AI work. Most of the generative AI programs are designed to run on these NVIDIA graphics cards. And so they're often coded using CUDA, which is tailored to these cards. So you can see that the 4070 is very fast compared to most video cards. The Intel integrated graphics are like 1/100th the speed of that. So you do get more performance with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 laptop GPU, but that is a monster that's going to require a lot of power. So anyways, this is going to be a very high performance laptop. One of the issues with it, though, is that it's going to be using one of the high-end Intel CPUs, which gives it pretty fast CPU performance. The problem is these CPUs suck up a lot of power. Intel is still at the 10 nanometer process for its CPUs, whereas Apple is at 5 nanometer process. This graphics processor is actually a 4 nanometer process, so it's more advanced than the Apple process. But they have some special cooling systems in this laptop. So it'd be very interesting when the reviews come out with the detailed test results to see how well it performs. Let's see if there's anything else here that I wanted to talk about with this. This is the CPU performance rating. Here's the Apple right here. This is the M2 Max CPU. The CPU performance for this new Asus laptop is probably going to be something like 20% faster than this right here. So that's performance is going to be out here. And you can compare that to the slower Apple Pro 16 MacBook Pro with the M2 Max CPU. Let's see if there's anything else here. Graphics performance, it will be probably similar to the M2 Max graphics performance. Oh, here's an interesting article. MacBook sales slump forcing Apple to reconsider the OLED display upgrade. Apple was going to come out with an OLED display on their MacBook Pros, but since their sales were so low this year, I guess the first 2 quarters, the MacBook Pro sales, the first 2 quarters of this year, the MacBook Pro sales were 50% down year over year from last year. So that's sort of shocking. And I think one of the big reasons for that, PC sales were down in general, but not by that much. I think one of the main reasons for Apple's sort of very large drop in MacBook Pro sales was that they didn't move down to the more advanced 3-nanometer process from Taiwan Semiconductor that a lot of analysts thought they were going to do. So they're using the same process that they used in 2001 for the M1 based MacBook Pros. And so that was a disappointment to a lot of people. And these M2 MacBook Pros are faster than the M1s, but not by nearly the margin that they would have been if they had gone to the 3-nanometer process. So like I said, this Asus computer is going to be using, for example, a 4-nanometer process for the graphics processor. So anyways, I thought that was very interesting. And you are getting the OLED display with the Asus laptop, which you are not going to be able to get with the Apple MacBook Pro. Now, here's an interesting thing. Apple's planning to go to a new type of display for its Apple Watch in 2024. And that's going to be called a micro LED display. So right now in the watches, they're using an OLED display. So that OLED display is using organic light emitting diodes for each pixel. So each pixel in that display has a separate red, green, and blue organic light emitting diode. Now the micro LED displays versus the mini LED displays, which aren't quite as good, the micro LED displays will be similar to OLEDs. They'll have a separate red, green, and blue LED in each pixel. But instead of the organic LEDs for those, they're going to use a different type of LED material that doesn't suffer from burn-in. Now, I've had a Samsung OLED display on an Alienware laptop for the last 6 years, and I've experienced no burn-in whatsoever. Though over that same period of time, I've had an LG OLED TV, not Samsung, but LG OLED TV, which suffers from severe burning. So the red pixels tend to wear out on that LG TV. Now, I think they've improved their TVs, so they're not as bad as that anymore. But I think they gave OLEDs a bad rap. But anyways, I don't anticipate having any burn-in with that Asus laptop because they're going to be using the Samsung OLED displays like I have in my Alienware, which has suffered from no burn-in. So anyways, it's a lot of very interesting developments going on. Let's see if there's anything else here. So that's pretty much all I had to talk about for today. Some interesting things. I'll be dying to see the reviews of this Asus laptop when it comes out, which should be June. So let me stop sharing.
As for those like 3D display computer, It seems
Yeah.
like you need to have like aim a certain angle. But when I was in
No,
GDC,
it has eye tracking. It
yeah,
has eye tracking.
yeah, it has like
So it
some eye
finds your
tracking.
head where, yeah, it finds your head wherever you're at, and it automatically adjusts the display for that. However, there is a limitation as of right now, and that is they're not set up for multiple people. So
Oh,
it's set up for one person. So if you're going to show off your work, you're going to have to take the laptop and like put it in front of the person that you're showing off to so that it can track their eyes instead of yours.
oh. So for example, if there's an animal has more than two eyes, then that device might not be available
An
because
animal, I
what
don't know
types
if
of
you're going to
animal?
be showing off to animals, but uh, yeah, I don't know what a cat sees when they watch TV or a dog or
Yeah.
I know that people have researched that, but uh, Asus said they are working on setting up the display for multiple people. I
Mm,
don't know if it will be as good if you have multiple people looking at it, but they
yeah.
said they're working on that. So it hasn't come out yet. The laptop hasn't come out yet, but they said they are working on that capability. I know that people have, worked on that for a long time, and so the technology is out there to do that. It's just a matter of whether they'll incorporate that within this laptop. But it will have plugins for all the wonderful things that we like to use. Blender, Cinema 4D. It will have all kinds of
Oh.
for all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
So, what if Apple had come out with their 3 nanometer MacBook Pros, I would have one right now. But I'm part of that 50% drop in their sales because they're not going to come out with it until March of next year. So I'm probably going to buy one of these Asus laptops if the reviews are good. And
mm.
so whether I'm going to buy the 13 or the 3 nanometer MacBook Pro next year or not, I don't know. So they're sort of throwing away that market advantage that they could have had.
Mm.
Um, so we'll see how things develop. I don't like
Yeah.
Windows though. I have to say I don't like Windows. I
Oh,
I have this problem where I'll be doing a bunch of work in Windows. I have all kinds of windows open, all kinds of applications open, and then a forced Windows update will come along, even though I
oh,
told it not to do that, and it will like restart the computer and trash everything I was working on, and
yeah.
I'll lose time, I'll lose work. I absolutely hate that. And so I know a lot of people have left Windows just for that reason. And so this is why I'm on a Mac right now, just for that reason.
Mm.
So I don't know what I'll have to do to avoid that. Maybe if I never let the Windows laptop on the internet, then it can't don't download the Windows updates, and then it can't force these updates on me. Maybe that's what I'll have to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Windows does has a lot of things that doesn't make sense, and I believe probably a lot of people complain, but they just shut their ears and not even hearing it. That thing is very annoying. And another thing is that um, did I told you that the keyboard, the Windows shape keyboard, I always accidentally hit that.
I I constantly do that.
Yeah, I wish there's a keyboard that is like a case on top of it, and on that key is fixed, and I couldn't even
Well,
press
you
it because
can. There's software that you can use to remap that. I'll send you a link to that
oh
sometime.
yeah, I mean
It,
sometimes I mean I switch from Apple, from Mac to Windows, and that key is kind of command control something that area, so I
yes,
always
it drives me
accidentally
nuts.
yeah.
In fact, on this Mac, I'm the Mac that I've got right now
Mm,
is a 16-inch MacBook Pro that's got the Intel CPU in it, so I can run Boot Camp on
oh.
this Mac laptop, which is useful because I run a lot of utilities that only work in Windows, and so I will switch to Windows, and I am constantly hitting that key that you described, and it just wreaks havoc every time I do that. These windows pop up, and it's just a mess. So I need to remap that key myself.
Mm.
And I've got a good article on it, so I'll have to do that. I'll send you a link when I figure it all out.
Yeah, okay.
But I was reading reviews of Windows 11 for gaming. I know gamers have been complaining about Windows 11, And so this new Asus laptop is going to have to run Windows 11, and maybe you can run Windows 10, but I doubt it. So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, now I think the big thing about right now is people are looking forward to Apple's new AR glass. Or right now, I think there are so many confusion about how to name the new headset, right? So for example, like uh, mixed reality, AR glass, and also VR device. I think this one should be Apple's AR glass, but because HoloLens they have like a mixed reality, and also Quest Pro they use like a kind of mixed reality headset. So I mean, yeah, I mean let's just dive in and see, how it goes. It's pretty much $3,000 for that device, and then I know this year is kind of tech recession, so I'm wondering who has the money. I mean, I believe there will be a lot of people who can afford it, but the majority of consumers might not be able to afford that 3,000 headset. But they have the install payment plan, which is 12 months to 24 months. And then,
Yeah,
so I think they are going to announce
zero
that
percent interest.
0%.
0% interest. So
Um,
if you're buying a Mac, it's always good, I think, to take advantage of that, because that really helps your cash flow if you're a
yeah,
business.
yeah, I think that will be really good. Yeah. I mean, I would like to try, and if I can get a free one, I will trying to get a free one and do some development and maybe create a course or something and see. Yeah, I think that the good thing about um, getting some kind of like a device and then start working on some interesting experiment, that would be always great. So I think we are all looking forward to Apple's event. I think around at the beginning of June, probably right after AWE, it will kind of start
See, I've
announcing
got
their
it on my calendar. I've got it on my calendar. It's the Worldwide
June 6th.
Developers Conference.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's WWDC. Yeah, so
uh,
it's about
June
3K,
5th,
June
June
5th,
5th through June 9th,
June 5th. Yeah,
5th through
so
9th.
yeah, so it's around 3K of VR device. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody always say different name, but I think it's AR glass. But anyway, VR device offering a 12 to 24 months repayment period. So if it is install payment, zero interest, that might be a little bit better, affordable for some developers who are trying to get something. So yeah, and comfort and content. I think Apple, the reason why they can sell such a high price is because of the user experience. Just like we previously say that Windows, they have a lot of problems and they have a lot of things that annoy people. I know they know it, but they just don't change anything. So I think Apple did a really good job of kind of make everything so simple, so easy to use.
The
This,
customer satisfaction for Apple is usually leads the industry.
yeah. And I can tell you that yesterday I was trying to add one of my designer to become the admin of Facebook fan page of X Reality Academy. However, I couldn't find the settings. I have to go to the business suite. I follow online instruction, but I couldn't find it. And then I have to poke around, and at the end, I find it. I was about to add my designer, and then the confirm button was disabled. After adding everything, I was like, hey, hello, and I only can cancel it. It was the last step. I need to hit the confirm button, but the confirm button was disabled. It's it's a very bad experience because all the instruction online was kind of outdated, and I have to poke around. And finally, I start I was able to add people, but the experience was bad and I was not able to do it. So
This was for Facebook?
yeah, Facebook fan page.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think, yeah, they
Was it
probably,
your browser?
no, it's not the browser. It's the other button works. It just at the end when I was about to add person and the confirm button. Once you put people's name and everything, you click, everything works, but that confirm button was gray out. And there's only another button, which is cancel. It's like, so it's like they just want you to cancel it and they are not going to let you add it. So yeah, so I mean, I think Apple really helps out to reduce a lot of steps, and also, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the better experience headset. And once we have if Apple's AR glass or VR glass is settled down, then I think the games begins. Because right now it seems like we are trying to figure things out and some things kind of forming together. And if we have some final good experience headset, comfortable headset, then I think now is the game. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting that Apple took so long to come up with their design, and it seems like they have some users, for example, like they are even considered the motion sickness and some experience in VR. And then they kind of like did a lot of, I would say, user testing and trying to finalize things. So yeah, it's worth to wait, but it's just too long. I'm afraid that if people feel disappointed, then they are just too late to the game. Okay, the other one is the four best AR glass pro level AR and XR headsets. I think maybe we just say XR headsets. It's probably easier because AR VR right now it feels like a merge together pretty quick. AR XR and there's no VR. Anyway, XR headsets are perfect tools for professionals looking to redefine how they work, collaborate, and create. This magazine or this site choose ZDNet, choose Google Glass Enterprise 2 as the best AR glasses available. Yeah, kind of like right now is probably the best. I think the interesting thing is that for metaverse, maybe we think it's dead, but for entrepreneurs, for training workers, it's still growing. So maybe the direction, instead of letting people leaving the digital form, we are still not there yet, because I saw like another news, which is like the hand tracking, the glove, and also the smell. Because smell to help people to recall some certain memories, right? For example, when I smell something, I can, like my brain will take me to, for example, like my hometown or some different places has certain smells. And there's another team, like according to today's news, they are trying to use AI to detect different smells. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think all these different senses, people are still developing. So in order to live on the digital platform, like metaverse, we probably need to simulate our other senses well, so people won't feel too awkward, and then whatever they see, they feel in the fake world is not aligned with their physical feelings. And also, I think the headset and the original build need to be, or the content need to be, yeah, just need to increase. So that's why I think metaverse is not there yet. It's possible to be there, but it's just not practical right now. And industry enterprise usage for XR is growing. And then there are some good headsets. For example, Google Glass Enterprise 2, best AR glass overall. We all know that Google AR Glass is kind of dead long time ago, but they have the Enterprise 2 AR Glass overall, and I haven't tried it, but it seems like 1,000 per set. It's probably a pretty good price for an AR glass compared with Apple's 3,001. Yeah, so yeah, pros and cons. I cannot wear. Yeah, go ahead.
Can't be worn with glasses. That's sort of a big one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think this one is probably something that reading some instructions and kind of getting some training will be great. I would like to get some other kind of like picking one AR glass to do the AR glass course. Right now, I'm still working on it, but I think right now I'm working on the AR foundation for mobile. The reason why I start with that is because I'm targeting on beginner and everybody has a phone. Not everybody has AR glass. I have my Quest Pro, but it's just very heavy. And somehow I think the experience was getting not so good. I was recording a video, but I couldn't even find it. Yeah, it was disappear inside my library. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe is my Wi-Fi is disconnected, but I find out that a lot of stuff due to tech recession, a lot of experience to down performing. I think because probably of those events happen. So I do like to try some other AR headsets, and I am also include Apple AR Glass if it is good and see if there's any way I can apply some free one if I can. So yeah,
I would think that the fact that you can't use it with glasses would be a deal breaker for many people.
mm,
Because how many people need glasses? And if you
yeah.
can't use Google's AR glasses with your own glasses, then it would be unusable for a lot of people.
So that's why last time we talked about that ChatGPT thing and clicked on your glass, right? And it's free source. It's just 200, 300 for one. It's like
Yeah.
ChatGPT, but that thing is like, something just clicked and then it will show on top. I think if that thing can be a little thinner and people buy two, and for developer to develop some interesting things, maybe we don't need those, right? Do you agree? Yeah, I mean, if somebody can do some innovative stuff and then trying to make that, or that company can create a platform, if it can be open source, right? I believe this community will go really well just because this types of device, even though it feels like, it's a set of system, but first it's too pricey. You see Microsoft HoloLens at this 3,000 or
Wow. I
more.
thought they had discontinued the HoloLens.
I think HoloLens 2, they discontinue, right? If I
So,
may, I remember they kind of closed the entire team.
so it's sort of an orphan project then, I guess.
Yeah, and I know a lot of companies, enterprise using it, but they stop even upgrading and supporting, which is how can you stop a product line and while everyone is using it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably put all the resource to AI. But I mean, later on, I will have another topic talking about people are worried about AI because we are creating something that is even stronger than us. Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad, right? they can help us, but they can destroy us. Right now, we are not at that moment that we feel AI is a threat. Yeah, maybe in the future, imagine your computer is smarter than you, and how can you even make a comment on it? Right now, it's because AI will still need to make comments, so it seems like human has a lot of things to do. But imagine everything is smarter than you, then are we going to do the backward and serve the computer and trying to do the opposite things? Because right now computers are learning and human beings are not doing anything, right? So
I wish my computers were smarter than they are now.
I
I mean, I
wish.
can't even get the fingerprint reader to work on my Mac. One out of every 10 times it works. Does yours work?
Oh, you mean, oh, fingerprint? Yeah, I think my fingerprint works, still
It
works.
works. Well, good for you. Mine doesn't work with these.
Maybe you can do, a mold, use silicone, right? And just use that thing and put on. But you
Make a
probably
fake.
need some, yeah, fake, yeah, and with your fingerprint up front, and with your temperature, so it feels real.
It's just designed to torture me right now. I've trained like 4 or 5 fingers on it.
Maybe your fingerprint was not clear, right? Something like
I don't know. I don't know.
that's pretty scary though, because if you are the real person owner, but you just couldn't, your
But
fingerprint.
you can always type your password in, but
Yeah, right.
I shouldn't even try to use the fingerprint reader because it works so seldomly.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. I think all the AR glass, it seems like it's the Chat GPT one, the clip one with open source. That one is so far that I like the most, and I feel like that one has a lot of opportunities. Yeah, you see, 3,500 to 5K.
That's
Yeah,
just too much.
yeah, that's too much. Just imagine, I remember when I want to learn like some AR stuff on Unity, it says that, oh, if you want to learn all those enterprise AR or VR stuff, you need to contact our sales. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, even learning is being blocked. I think there are too many things that are being blocked. That's why it's not um, being common or not being accessible by everyone, just because all those price and all the blocked of content, everything looks like so premium, so expensive. So I do think that, yeah, I mean, I'm a fast learner, so I will just like a spy and learn everything and trying to create a lot of tutorials and share with the community. Yeah, I think that's the goal. Just chime in and figure things out. Yeah, that's the goal. So yeah, and another one is called Lenovo Think Reality, best wired AR. Yeah, and you see it's wired. Wired, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's just, ooh. You when I was designing Quest Pro, it's wired because I linked that wire, and I bought the longest wire so I won't get trapped if I turn around or something. But still, it's just so chunky and so hard. It just, every time when I want to set up, I always need to, it's like millions of things, very heavy. Yeah.
Do you notice more latency when you're using the wired connection?
Small, that I feel like the latencies just keep doing every time when I move something, maybe because I'm developing, so the Unity need to run, right? And my headset need to run. And Wi-Fi, actually, the Wi-Fi is not too bad, but there are latency and sometimes just stop there. So I feel it's a pain just to do the development because things are not aligning, and every time when I move something, for example, like I was designing some flying bat, and that bat will start from here, and then after 1 second it becomes like right in front of your eyes, and there's
Uh-huh.
no twinning or
Yeah. So you're running into significant latency with the work.
Yes, yes. And I was about to show that VR game because it's almost done. Actually, it's
Uh-huh.
almost done. Yeah. And the problem about it is that I couldn't really do it. Why? Because the latency or the Wi-Fi in AWE is so bad. It's only allow you, it's like a 3 megabyte. Only allow you to check email. That's it. So I will kind of create a video, just put some clips, if I may, just put in, or later on, I just make a course and maybe make a trailer later. Yeah.
So this is for your booth. You're not presenting at AWE, is that correct?
I will, my thinking is that I will bring my monitor and then loop the trailer. Our team is working on a trailer. That trailer is really good. Kind of describe everything in X Reality Academy. We just keep playing, and I will kind of have in some cuts of the Rocket AR project and other project, just like really quick cut of what we are going to teach. And then I will have a small computer for people to sign up.
Uh-huh. I think we'll have to go through this pretty quickly here because you're going to have to shut down and get ready for the next event soon.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this one and another one is Hinton. Issues another AI warning. He is the grandfather of AI, and he is warning about AI might pretty soon be even more stronger than us. Then yeah, that's the concern. Okay, thank you so much, because later on we will have a meeting, and Matt right now is in Taiwan and we don't want him to wait. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you in the few seconds. Bye bye.
Right.